Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, YouTube, wherever you are, whenever you are. I am Shaggy, I am Philalitea, and today I decided to open with a radio announcer guy opening, and I don't hate it actually, I kind of liked it a lot. I'm still in my tent. I'm in a damn good mood today. I don't really know why I'm in a good mood, because I am depressed as shit. I am chemically depressed. My system is depressed. And I didn't mean to start this when I did, so I don't have my backpack out. I had planned on placing this against my backpack. But because I am also bipolar, which used to be called manic depressive, which means that my emotions respond to my stimuli more rapidly than yours do, and they don't just respond, but they stay in the new state until a different stimulus puts me in a new state. Because that is the way my brain works, and because there's just nothing doing about it, when you have a, let's say, mental disease like mine, or a mental disorder like mine, or you have a brain that functions in a different way than normal, when you are in whatever manner atypical, there is no doing anything about it. Like depression, people who have, what do they call it? Clinical depression is what they call it now, where you're the kind of person who's just depressed all the time, and there's just no other personality trait that you have. Medicine's not going to make that better. The medicine is a placebo. What's making it better for you is having the attention that you get from your therapist. What's making it better is the attention that you get from people knowing that you're in therapy. What makes it better is your decision to not be the way you are being. And that's why you go to therapy, and that's what a therapist, and that's what a priest, and that's what I am trying to teach you, is that the word be is one which you do not understand very well. What you are is sort of what you are doing, but it's more than what you are doing. Who you are is so much more than just what you're doing. But what you are is in a large part defined by what you are doing. Because let me just put it this way. I just spent the last 4 years with a woman who was way too educated to be sitting at home playing video games, spending all of her dying father's money. She couldn't get out of her own way. And she couldn't think of herself as what she did all day and who she was. She couldn't let herself think of herself as those things, because and you're not dissimilar from her. You're just not dissimilar. You might not be her, and you might not be trait identical to her, but you're not dissimilar, especially if you're an only child, and especially if your parents had any amount of money. She can't think of herself. She can't, literally, I mean, cannot think of herself. She can't come to the conclusion that she is what she spends her time doing on some level. Because if she came to that conclusion, she would realize that she wants to make changes. But changes require change. Changes require work. And this isn't about her. Because what you don't understand, because you don't know me, is that I came to all of these conclusions in middle school. I can remember being a freshman. We might have been as old as sophomores, but I can remember being a freshman, and there was a girl in my class who had a boyfriend, and I didn't like him, so I fucked with her. I would do things like and she was in our friend group, and she was friends with one of my girlfriends, and so I just fucked with her. I fucked with her because I could, because nobody was going to do anything about it, and she just never said anything, and that's a major part of my personality, is like, if you're not going to say anything, I'm just going to keep doing the thing you don't like until you say something. Because I'm trying to get you to do something. And people call that manipulative, and it's like, yeah, we're allowed to manipulate one another, folks. Like, I sit now all day, my days are spent now all day long, spent watching these mobile ads. And they're manipulative as fuck. And they're lying. I'm not lying to you when I kick your heel into your other heel so that you stumble while we're walking down the hallway. And I'll do it 5 or 10 times until you fucking say something. And the point is, I had got into a habit where I didn't even think about it. I had done it so long I didn't even think about it. I just did it. Literally every time I'd just walk up behind her and kick her fucking foot. Didn't even notice. And so finally one day she goes, could you fucking not do that? And I said, yeah, sure, no problem. And then I did it exactly one more time after that, because it had become an automatic response. And so I apologized, and I never did it again. But I realized that it would require effort over time. You have to think about this stuff. You have to keep it on your mind. You have to make it a part of your personality to change a habit. You have to think about it. You have to think about the unthought, you have to think about the unthought behavior. You have to analyze the unanalyzed in order to change it, right? And so if you're doing a bunch of behaviors that you don't like, and if you're doing behaviors I don't like, you're doing behaviors you don't like. I know that you don't want the reaction that you get from me. How do I know that? I've lost 2 followers in the last week, and I'm happy about it. I am not upset about it at all. I like my material. I like it a lot. It's almost time to get out of here, so I'm packing up the last of my stuff. It's nice enough outside. I don't need wrong pocket. But I've been watching. I've been seeing this trend of people dancing to that song. I made those shorts about it. And I got in my feelings, and I wanted to talk about something specific. And I'm sure I didn't talk about what it was. So now I'm just going to sit here for a little while, and I don't want to get out of the tent. But I do have to pee, and I am starting to get cold, so it is about that time. You don't like to hear me talk about my money situation, but I gotta make at least $25 before the 20th, because I owe Cash App $25. And so it'd be fucking cool if my Cash App or my Venmo or my PayPal or my Patreon just showed like $25. Would be cool. It would be even cooler if it showed a lot more than that. And I'm not asking for it from one person, but it would be really cool. Because I'm thinking about my depression. And I'm thinking about, you need to know why I say the things I do. I guess I still need to explain to you that this is art. It's a performance, what I'm doing. I am acting. I'm just acting as myself, which isn't something you tend to see creative-minded people do. When you see actors like what's his name, Shia LaBeouf, go to all the way to the character, to the point that they take it off the set and they go and they live the life, and they call it like researching the part or whatever. I'm sort of doing that. But I'm more like those historians. My belt was hurting my hips last night, so it came off. I'm more like those historians who go and recreate old castles and then populate them with people who are interested in living a pre-modern way of life. I'm an experiential person. But more importantly, I was cast out of society. Society doesn't want me. You guys, you think, I don't know how you think a body gets homeless. I don't know how you think I got homeless. I don't know what is in your minds because you won't communicate with me. I ask you and you won't answer because you're so traumatized by school. It disgusts me how traumatized you are by school and how far away from school you've carried that trauma. How many different places you've projected it that it just does not belong. Your trauma vis-a-vis school. It disgusts me. Your behavior vis-a-vis your school trauma disgusts me. Not the fact that you have school trauma. That your life is so charmed that the most difficult thing you ever did was public school. Having to answer a question that you should know the answer to in public is that disgusts me. It disgusts me because it bothered me in school, and my school trauma is being bullied for being the only one willing to put my hand up in class. And so people are like, "Oh, you're a real know-it-all," and I'm like, "Well, the teacher is trying to get participation from us here, so that we can demonstrate that we're actually in this fucking class for something other than just to kill time." So she can actually know whether or not she's teaching the material, and you motherfuckers refuse to participate because you refuse to volunteer fucking anything good. You just refuse to volunteer for anything good. And you know what? That's probably your grandparents' fault for dodging the fucking draft. Yeah, there's a certain amount of anytime anybody asks you to volunteer for anything, it's to go die. And yeah, on some level I'm asking you for an ego death here. I'm asking you to explore the idea that maybe the ego that you've built for yourself, the identity that you've built for yourself, needs desperately to die. But I am trying expressly to warn you that that's not a fucking metaphor. The reason, all of the religions,